I see dead people.
Here's Johnny.
Stop.
We have such sights to show you.
Bring the motherfucking ruckus. Fuck you too.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to 2026. I'm sure you're looking at the title for this, and you're thinking to yourself, what the fuck? We probably should have talked about this in 2025. Well, guess what? I was busy in 2025. I was busy writing over 100 pages of shit. Well, not shit, but 100 pages of spooky spaghetti to put on the show for you guys. And everyone else was super busy with that, and that was the priority for finishing out 2025. So we're going to do like a revisit for 2025 to start the year, which is ironic. So these first two episodes of the year, the first one is going to be a focus. Obviously, you've clicked on this, you've seen the title, you know what is happening here. We're doing a complete dissection of Halloween Horror Nights in 2025. And if you are listening to this, if you're listening to the podcast version of this, it's going to be a little weird because you're going to be hearing footage that I've recorded or I've found online, because this is the first time I'm experimenting with this attempt of talking about this product, because I want to show it off. This year was something special. I had a camera there with me, so I was recording stuff myself. You're going to follow us throughout that night, and by us I mean myself, Midnight Bride, and Afternoon Groom. But I'm going to do my best to censor our faces, or just not show our faces. So if you ever see the title card come up, just know that I was blocking us from being seen. This is my desktop, and that brings me to, if you're watching this on YouTube, there are going to be visuals to follow along. Visuals to take a look at. I know a lot of people listen to this while they're like driving in their car or they're at work and they can't actually sit down and watch it. I think that's fine. I think I'm still going to do a lot of talking and a lot of kind of storytelling. It's going to be more like a review. So there's still going to be stuff worth listening to, but I do agree that I think because of the visuals, this is going to be something a little bit more tailored for YouTube. Just to give them a shout out from the top of the episode, I am using the walkthrough footage from two different YouTube channels. The first is Attractions Magazine. They're fantastic. They have walkthroughs of all the houses up on YouTube, and then there's some also from Attractions 360. And Attractions 360, they review like rides, or they just show footage of rides. So if you are ever looking for a good channel to follow, that just goes on brand new rides and captures it in, 4K, give them a follow, because they're fantastic. So just from the top, I want to give them credit, and I will footnote them in the episode itself so that people know that that's the footage. I did not record footage in the house. I was not there at media night. You are not allowed to bring a camera in during during regular Halloween Horror Nights. So only people who are invited to media night are allowed to bring their cameras into and through the houses. So what I did was, as I was walking Midnight Bride and Afternoon Groom around the parks, I just kind of did a brief summary in front of each of the houses and captured just a little bit of what I saw outside, or sometimes even right after a house, what my immediate first thoughts were. And it's because I always kind of had this in mind, and this, I mean the whole review, rundown, experience, walkthrough, whatever you want to call it. We're just going to call this episode Halloween Horror Nights 2025. But in 2 weeks, we're also going to have the movie review episode covering all of the movies that we watched in 2025. And for that one, I'm, of course, having my annual revisit with Mark Rooster, but we're going to have a new guest with us this year as well, because I did see more than half of these movies with this person. So lots to look forward to for this first month for January of 2026. No stories just yet, obviously. It's going to be more of a, let's analyze the year we just had and a lot less storytelling. But don't worry, I have some good stories lined up, and we're going to talk to some more people from the Patreon, and we're going to read more fan-submitted stories. I have like 2 or 3 emails from people asking them if they want us to read anything specific, and they actually gave us some sources. There's a physical book that I found that I'm pretty excited to read. There's a lot of stuff I'm looking forward to this year. There's a big series I'm going to cover with someone. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I think it might. It has potential to be one of the longest things we've ever read on the show. And it's just going to be me and this person just going down this rabbit hole, into madness or into time and space. It's going to be fucking weird. But I just wanted to start by saying thanks. Thanks for following along. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. This is going to be one of those episodes where you can do it twice. So give me those views, give me those follows and likes and subscribes and all that good shit. We're going to start this adventure with my footage, and then anytime something comes up, I'm going to pause and I'm going to go to something else and start talking about it, because we're going to go in order of how I experienced things at Horror Nights this year. And just to, start telling the story right now, we were celebrating Midnight Bride's 30th birthday. I think this year was one of the best years ever for Horror Nights. I remember trying to talk a lot of people into going this year because I knew it was going to be something special. The lineup was just fucking fire. And, even though it was their first time going, I know Afternoon Groom had a really good time. I think Midnight Bride appreciated it, but her sister didn't as much. I think she just wasn't into it as much as we are. We are kind of ingrained into horror a little bit more, so I don't blame her for that. I think my enthusiasm for the product might have oversold it a little bit. I'm not at all offended by someone's lack of enthusiasm for something horror related. It's very much to each their own subjective meaning for things. That's fine. I'm not letting it damper my experience because, again, this year was maybe one of the best years I've ever had at Halloween Horror Nights. And that's just because the quality of everything was so top notch. Like this is the third or fourth, I want to say fourth time we've talked about Horror Nights on the show. I've talked about it with my brothers, Spum and Cum, when we went for the first time in 2019 to Hollywood. I also know I've done Horror Nights in Hollywood with Where Am I believe twice now. And then I covered almost all of the houses I've experienced with Alley Cat on a different episode too. So this might even be the 5th episode that we're talking about Horror Nights. I really don't know. I should probably make a playlist for when I talk about them. No stories on this episode because I just want to kind of do a breakdown of what it meant to be there and what I experienced and what my thoughts were. But we're gonna talk and walk through a lot of the houses, and I'm gonna try to keep it as interesting as I can and try to lay in as much of my own personal feelings so that it's not just dead air and hearing a house walk through for anyone who's just listening to this and not watching it. But anyway, one of the best years I've ever had at Halloween Horror Nights, and I'm hearing that from a lot of people in the community. I would say 2019 is like the last really, really good year that people have had, which is great for me to hear because that was my first year attending. So it feels like I've hit two of the best years in the last decade, which feels awesome. And even as I'm sitting here, I'm like getting hyped for what's to come next year because people are already talking about it. These forums, this community that I mentioned, they're already going nuts for the potential of 2026, which, just to lay into it ahead of time, there's lots of rumors swirling around about what we might get. I mean, Stranger Things has been there almost every year that the show has been going on. The subsequent year, they always have a house, with the exception of, I want to say, season 3. Season 3 was kind of a season 2.5 house. But season 1 was a phenomenal house. Season 4 was a phenomenal house. I can only imagine that season 5 is going to get a house. It would be weird if they didn't. Just because there's so much to get there. There's so much to push there. Especially if they're partnered with the other thing I'm hearing, which is It in some capacity. Having Pennywise at the event is going to be fucking insane. I'm going to be talking a lot about Art the Terrifier and his presence this year. If they have Pennywise at the event in the same capacity, this year is going to be nuts, just alone with him. Especially if they do it the same way. Even if it's just Welcome to Derry and not specifically the movies that came out, I want to say in 2017 and 2019, if it's just Welcome to Derry, even better, honestly, because I truthfully think I liked the show more than I liked the movies, which is weird. I think it's because I didn't know what was necessarily going to happen in the show, and my expectations were completely underwhelmed at the beginning and then totally bought into it by the end of it. I think a house based off of that series or that first season could be fucking awesome. Some other big rumors is another music house. There was a heavy metal, I want to say heavy metal hell section of Slaughter Cinema last year. And there's rumors that there might be an Ozzy Osbourne or Ice Nine Kills maybe mix up, or one of them gets a dedicated house on each coast type of thing. That would be interesting. I mean, hey, Ozzy Osbourne, rest in peace. I don't listen to Ice Nine Kills, but I know that he does the soundtrack for, I think, all of the Terrifier movies. So there's reason to believe that both of them can exist at an event like this. What else am I hearing? I'm hearing a lot of Hellraiser, which is another thing that excites me greatly. If we get Hellraiser, that's going to be a bucket list item for me. I mean, It is also a bucket list item for me. So the two of those alone, even if we don't get Stranger Things, if we get nothing else on this list, I'm still going to be very excited for It and Hellraiser. It and Hellraiser are two that I've heard a lot about. The third one I've heard a lot about is Resident Evil in some capacity. I want to say based off of the second and third games, specifically the remake games. A new attempt at doing the Raccoon City with the police station and possibly Mr. N and Nemesis. I don't know. I'm not the hugest Resident Evil fan. I think the movies are pretty much garbage, but the house has potential to be really cool. I know they've done it already. Come here. I know they've done it already, so and I know it wasn't great the first time they did it. I want to say it was somewhere in the early 2000s or mid 2000s. They've done a Resident Evil 2 and 3 house, and people thought it was just okay. So if this is them saying, let's do it again and let's go as hard as we wanted to the first time and weren't able to, but budgetary restraints, I don't know. That's going to be great. So those are the three that I'm hearing a lot about. Stranger Things is more of a zeitgeist thing where it just kind of manifests. I really didn't think it was going to happen 2 years ago or 3 years ago when season 4 came out. It wasn't on anyone's radar, and that just kind of showed up out of the blue that year. People were murmuring about it, but no one had any leaks about it. People were worried about it leaking, actually. I think there's potential that season 5 is going to do the same thing where like no one talks about it and it just shows up because of course it does. That might be wishful thinking for some, but I'm holding out hope that if we're able to get it this year and we finish off Stranger Things, that's just going to be a really good combo for both of them because they're pretty similar. The last I'm hearing is between two very different properties where I really appreciate one of them and I was kind of muddled on the other. Blumhouse tends to have a representation at Horror Nights every year in some various capacity, and as much as I don't love everything that they make, I'm not going to shit on what they do, because they make it easier for horror to get out there and for it to be more accessible. And even though it might be cheap by some regards, they definitely have made their mark. I think now they own Saw. Like, they did own Halloween for a little bit there. They did own Exorcist, or they do own Exorcist. There's something to be said about what they do for horror, and not all of it is great, but a lot of what they do at Horror Nights is pretty good. So we might get Black Phone 2. And there's a lot of cool set pieces with Black Phone 2. Everyone likes to talk about winter houses in the Horror Nights community, like a cold house. And while we didn't truly get a cold house this year, not in like true form, like fake snow and all that, there is a cold house that I will get to, but it's not the same as others I've seen, like the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire or the Winter's Wake Dead Man's Pier. Like, those are beautiful winter houses, cold houses. So if we do get Black Phone 2, that's a cool setting for the grabber to come back, and he kind of plays Freddy Krueger in that movie. That would be a fine house. I didn't love the movie, but it would be fine. The other rumor, we might get Sinners. And it's tough because the same studio that made Sinners is the same studio that made It. Are they willing to play ball and let Horror Nights use two properties in 1 year? I mean, they've done it before. Would they do it again? I don't know. They've never let Horror Nights use It before, but maybe the TV show has a loophole. Maybe the TV show is the exception, because that's how they got The Shining done at Horror Nights 1 year. Stephen King is famous for having said that he doesn't want any of his stuff to be turned into like physical haunted houses. Everyone knows this. He says, don't use my stuff as haunted house Garbo. Like, I don't want people going through that. But maybe in his old age, he doesn't care as much anymore. I don't know. I do know that when he found out that they were doing The Shining, he tried putting a kibosh on it, and it was too late because it was already like written, contract, inked, and dealed. So They found a way to get around his ruling because I don't think he wanted to claim ownership of the movie at that time. Not until Doctor Sleep did he kind of change his tune about the Kubrick film. So there was a Horror Nights house about the Kubrick film. 1 year. I didn't get to see it. It was before my time. But it was really good. You could see it on YouTube. It's a really cool looking house. So, it's not super against expectations to say that we'll get it. I would love for it to show up. I don't know if we're going to get Sinners. Sinners is one of those, man, this would be a really good house as you're watching the movie and you're thinking about, I'm thinking about, because of course I'm watching a horror movie and I'm thinking, how would this work as a Horror Nights house? It's pretty easy. They've done like barn style, I want to say like civil rights era houses before. It's not the first time. I could think of 2 houses in the last like 3 years that you just combine the 2 of them and you get Sinners, which is a Blood Omen and Darkest Deal. I feel like between the 2 of them, you can make a Sinners house pretty well. So those are all the rumors. Those are all the things that people think is going to come. And I'm trying to keep my expectations low because I don't want to be disappointed if any of them don't show up. But there's someone within the community online who's just like, hey, if you thought last year was big, wait until you see this year. And he's an insider with some access to people who still work at Universal and still kind of don't necessarily put out big leaks, but they just provide clues and hints. And from what he's heard, a lot of this stuff is substantiated. So if you like any of the stuff that I just said, this is the time to go. This is the time to look forward to it. It's going to be here in 7.5 months' time at this point. So you have a lot of time to save up for it if you want to go. I don't recommend going without Express Pass, but if you need to, you do what you got to do just to be able to experience what you want to experience. A regular ticket to Horror Nights is anywhere from $70 to $90. That's not the hard part. The hard part is the Express Night Pass, which is the only way I've been able to see all the houses in one night. You could go for 2 nights, but I just think that that's a lot of waiting in lines just to hit the same 10 houses. In my opinion, I think it's easier for someone to pay for the Express Pass and do all 10 of the houses in one night. Yes, it's more expensive, but it's less time consuming. If this is a vacation, if this is a trip that people are thinking about, then time is just as important as convenience. I've gone every year for the last 5 or 6 years, with the exception of COVID. They didn't really have a full year that year. And I've done Express every single time, and I don't regret it at all because it brings you, minimally, it cuts the line in half. This last year, it did more than that. It brought each line wait down to maybe 15, 20 minutes. I never had to wait more than 15 or 20 minutes. And as you'll see in the footage that I'm going to show, there were some lines that were over 3 hours. I mean, for an event that only lasts like 7 or 8 hours, if you're lucky, to be spending a third of that or half of that for some people in line for one specific house that I don't even necessarily think would be worth waiting that long, that's rough. You don't want to spend $80 on one night and only get like 2 or 3 houses done. Maybe it's the completionist in me that's speaking, but I'm gonna pay more because I want to see everything. I want to experience everything. And of course, yes, we do the rides that are open while we're there, but we're also prioritizing the houses. I think that's enough jibber jabber for the first half hour. Let's start going on the adventure. This is going to be one of those rip headphone users episodes because I don't think with how the audio is going to pop in and pop out on my footage or the YouTube footage or any of that stuff, I know that Horror Nights is really, really loud. They're always pumping music. There's always someone screaming, laughing, whatever. You're going to hear me laughing like a jackass a bunch, especially if you're not watching this footage and you're just listening to this. I don't want you to constantly be bombarded by volume changes. So this is just a warning that this episode is... I can't really edit too much of what I'm about to show you. The only thing I'm going to try to do is keep my identity and the identities of anyone else on the show kind of censored. But the audio itself, showing you actual footage from the night of, is going to be hard for me to edit around. So I'm just going to lower my volume so that you guys don't get your ear holes fucking blasted. So we're going to start the adventure.
I wonder why.
And when you come walking in and you take your first right, you're through the Hollywood
So this is the
scare zone.
Vampire's Masquerade.
And I just said that this is the Vampire's Masquerade. It has a more specific name. Let's give that a pause. The first scare zone is called Masquerade Dance with Death. And it is vampires, but the description for this zone is: you're invited to a masquerade ball where bloodthirsty vampires lurk behind ornate disguises. When their masks fall, you'll become their prey. Dance the night away with vampires at an elaborate masquerade ball where they reveal themselves as they search for their next victim. It's a really cool zone. There's a lot of, there's a couple stilt walkers like this one that you're seeing right here. That must be such a fucking tough job, navigating a crowd while you're like up 3 or 4 feet on giant fucking stilts, let alone all dolled up in makeup. So yeah, this is like Victorian era. There's tons of stained glass. And I'm laughing as people are taking selfies in front of the vampires. There's victims running around with like blood coming from their neck and they're like asking people for help. And then there's all these really gorgeously dressed vampires. And they're hissing at people, they're roaring at people, and they're trying to make you their next victim, even though like this is their party. Really cool set design, really cool costumes on a lot of the vampires that are walking around. You're hearing me giggle a lot like a fucking nerd. Vampire just holding a heart, hissing at people.
She gave me a startle.
And yeah, this was our first walkthrough of the event, and what a great first impression. Just dolled up vampires and beautiful stained glass. You could look at all the ivy and all the plant overgrowth that they put over everything. There's also this dude just running around asking everyone for help, and there's just blood coming from his neck. I remember there's this point where everyone kind of stops what they're doing and they gather back up on this main stage in the middle of the zone. And this stage, they all come up here and they put someone in the middle, and then like all the vampires in the scene feed on that person. And I remember witnessing that dude who was running around at the end of the clip asking people for help like he was someone that they fed on at one point. It's really fucking cool, the dedication that they put into this. I always say there's no actual accurate number because I don't work for Universal. I'll never be able to quantify this specific amount. But I want to say that they always put like $1 million into each of their houses, and you're going to see that. I don't know how much they put into the scare zones, but this year in particular, it stood out to me as like they really did as much as they could. And I would not be surprised at all to hear if they did just as much money for each of the zones. And there's like 3 really good zones and 2 kind of half-assed zones. And then one zone which is basically just statues. So we're gonna see all aspects of that, and it's just like maybe some of them they put in more money than the others, but for each of the houses, I think just the basic production budget is like $1 million. So this is an event that minimally costs $10 million to put on every year. It has to be. I mean, what you're about to see, what you're about to hear, is just the dedication to a theme. And this is a theme park. They're gonna go as hard as they need to immerse their guests and put them exactly where they want them to be, which is in a horror movie for these, for all intents and purposes. That's what Horror Nights is. It's about putting you in that movie. And I have a cat on my desk who says, I want to be on the podcast. All right.
You gotta tell
So
the
we're
story.
walking back into,
Look at the story. Babies.
after we go through Hollywood, you go through the park, the Central Park, New York area. Look at kids skipping around and shit. This is the Cat Lady of Crooked Lane scare zone, and holy shit, this scare zone is impeccable. Just any ability to talk about this one. Travel down a spooky, winding path to a mysterious home where trick-or-treaters are transformed into feral felines. Be careful or you'll be next. Venture toward the house of the Cat Lady of Crooked Lane and enter the pet cemetery as trick-or-treaters warn against approaching her and her rabid children turned felines. I'm gonna talk over the story that's being told on the pages that we're about to walk past. But as you go through the zone, there is storybook pages that kind of tell this very simple story about the cat lady. As you walk through and get closer to her house or further away from her house, depending on which direction you're walking. And the story goes like this. Deep in the forest on Halloween night, the trick-or-treaters follow moonlight, the naughty children that dare to explore the old crooked lane along the forest floor. Cat eyes and pumpkins line the dim trail to the cat lady's house, so withered and frail. The cat lady of Crooked Lane stands on her stoop, stirring her cauldron of special soup. She's not a witch, the children all say, as she pets her cats of orange, black, and gray. She lifts her ladle and offers a taste. They drink it all down, not a drop goes to waste. The potion sets in turning hands into claws, and long feline teeth protrude from their jaws. The children all scream as they become beast, and now hunt their friends to add to the feast. The moral of the story, and it should be plain, never trust the cat lady of old Crooked Lane. Yeah, this zone is one of the top 5 zones they've ever done. It hits the traditional, 1900s Art Deco vibes of Halloween. The classic witches and pumpkins. Look at all the pumpkins in the trees. And look at the dedication to trying to set the vibe. I want to say 60s, 70s Halloween, black cats, pumpkins, witches.
Look at the kitty.
look
at the kitty.
Look at the kids turned into cats. It's just
There's one on the other side.
this zone was just so cool. And yeah, the pages are set up so that no matter which direction you're going, and you can read the story of the zone as you're walking through.
The cats are fighting. The cats are fighting. Run! Run! She's behind you! Run! Run! She's coming for you!
The cats genuinely loved me filming them with my camera, so you're gonna see a lot of that.
The cat lady of Crooked Lane stands on her stoop.
So yeah, I'm going through the pages as I'm walking through this zone, and even just the artwork for the pages is really cool looking.
They drink it all down. Not a drop goes to waste. And then she turns them into cats.
And the cats, yeah, dude.
Yeah, definitely.
They were all so good.
Calico.
The Siamese.
And then this is the last one. The children all scream as they become the beast, and now hunt their friends to add to the
Yeah, so only
feast.
3
Story
pages
should
that
be
tell
plain.
that story,
Never trust the cat lady of
reversed on
old
each
crooked
angle.
lane.
But at the very end of the lane, you actually have the cat lady's house. So it just gets better and better the further you go into the zone. And I'm always very enthusiastic about scare actors.
There she is.
So when
The cat lady.
when
She's
scare
out.
actors come at me, I'm always laughing. I'm always giving them props for doing their job, because it can't be easy to get all dolled up and be around thousands of people every night repeatedly, specifically in Florida weather. You know, it's a lot. It's a daunting job. It's an exhausting job. So I try to be as nice and enthusiastic. Oh no, that girl I told to run had run all the way down to the cat lady's house.
Sweeter than honey, rarer.
And she's telling her to drink some of her fucking soup. She's gonna turn her into a cat, which is, yeah, see, just a little taste. So they put on this show just spontaneously. There's no schedule. If you're just walking through the zone and you happen to see this happening.
With love.
With love.
Yeah, she loved that soup.
Most
Yeah, that
important
was real
ingredient.
good. Nothing bad's gonna happen.
Bless your
Yeah,
heart.
she's freaking out.
There's water on the table. Make sure to wash it all down.
So the actor goes into the house, and then you see the projection of a kid turning into a cat. Meanwhile, there's a cat right behind
Beautiful
me.
nails you have. Oh, they're both.
Oh, you got a friend.
They loved my camera, so it's
Oh no!
one of the
Oh,
cats.
no!
Oh yeah, the kid just turned into a cat. And then the scene resets and the new actor comes out. So the previous actor, she's getting us to clap. So the previous actor who went in there wearing kind of the same costume now comes out in cat form. So I'm sure they just continue to cycle this as the night goes on.
Yeah.
But they even had this cool little walkthrough section with these little boxes, like little litter boxes. I mean, that's not what they are. It's like fence posts. But the cat's just hiding in these little boo holes, these little scare boxes, waiting for people to come by. And here I am just fucking staring at them, waiting for the trigger to go off. Yeah, got him. No, it's just such a fucking fantastic zone. If they had done this as a house, I still would have loved it. I think they should do it as a house. I think the concept is cool enough that it could absolutely come back and they could do it again. Because sometimes that happens. Sometimes they have a zone or a miniature concept and it turns into a full-fledged house later on. We're going to be talking about that with, I believe, my first house of the night coming up next. So,
First house of the night is Hatchet and Chains. Hatchet and Chains was
yeah.
a part of last year's cinema. I want to say it's called Cinema Screams, and it was a drive-in
Cinema.
house where each room was a different fake horror movie. And one of them was a western about two bounty hunters, one old guy working with a demon to hunt down demons that escaped from hell. This is an entire house based off of that concept from last year. So it's like a guy who works alongside a demon. It's not like Blade. You know, Blade being a vampire that hunts other vampires. This is about a demon that hunts other demons that escape from hell. That's like
I couldn't have said it better myself. Ha 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 ha. No, that's pretty much what it is, right down to the description. So, Hatchet and Chains, the specific description for that house is, they're the outlaws from hell. In this old west town, all hell is breaking loose. Red-hot lava demons are trying to possess everyone, melting everything in their path. Your only hope? Hatchet and chains with their mystical weapons. Yeah, like I said, Slaughter Cinema the year prior had Hatchet and Chains as like an in-between room. There was a Mardi Gras murders room. There was a shark room. There was a mummy strippers from Mars room. Like, it was a really fun cavalcade kind of house where you just jumped through a lot of miniature concepts. But there were a lot of rumors that one of them was being fully developed into a house for the next year. And I was always putting my money on Hatchet and Chains because it reminds me of characters that Deputy Dewey and I played as during D&D some time ago. And what more need be said? It's an old western house with demons and cowboys and gunslingers, and it's just really, really good. Every house this year, with the exception of maybe like one or two, like every house this year, and even saying that with the exceptions in mind, every house this year was good. This one is, I would say, right in the middle. It was not one of the worst ones. It was not one of the best ones, but it was certainly an enjoyable one. So let's go into Hatchet and Chains. So there's the cover art for Hatchet, of course, the demon who uses a hatchet. And then Chains is the older dude with the Ghost Rider fucking chains. So, I'm now going to show Attraction Magazine's Hatchet and Chains footage for the house. Yeah, the house begins with like a crazy old lady out front just telling everyone that they're doomed, to watch out. What do they call that in Cabin in the Woods? The Harbinger? Yeah.
The demons are coming.
Yeah, they are. All the chains everywhere already. Yeah, unfortunately what you're going to see is that even at media night, a lot of horror nights is this conga line of people behind one another. So you're always going to be seeing the person in front of you, and sometimes they get the scare and you don't. Which is fine. I think for what it's worth, it would be really hard for everyone to get hit with the same scare. That would be just really extenuating exhausting for the scare actors. That's a really cool effect. There's a demon in a fireplace that's being pulled through the fireplace. A literal dude on a horse. Literal dude up on an undead horse. I want to say that was Hatchet. And there's Chains right there pulling that dude through the fucking fireplace. Yeah. I love westerns. So you get some fucking fiery demons and you mix it with western aesthetic. I'm in. Shout out to Bone Tomahawk for being a horror western that I really like watching. All these demon costumes are really this dude. It's like a priest just turning corpses into demons. Like they're already sitting here in coffins and he's raising the dead. Like the description said, they're putting Ava demons. Yeah, the skulls. They're putting them in the bodies. So there's this really cool effect where a lot of the corpses have like glowing, screaming mouths, which is just super cool looking. And then look at the floor, there's just like lights coming through the floor, there's like smoke, there's always fog. This one has like coal and fire everywhere. Give me your skin! Give me your skin! There's a point coming up, I want to say, where there's like bullet holes. Those are really cool effects. There's two really cool effects coming up. One of them is if you're walking through a hallway, there's bullet holes that actually shoot out fog and compressed air. Yeah, right here, you can see it. So it makes you hear the bullets going off, and then you see this compressed air shoot out of the wall, so it's like you're being shot at. The next really good effect coming up is this train station. That just really sold it to me for this house being special, because they found a way to make it look like you're about to get on a train and that another train is rolling by right in front of you. And this is all inside of a house. Like, I know that's a very simple looking projection, right? But it's something they didn't have to do, and they did. And it's still seen even in other rooms of the house, so it sells the effect that this is a long train that you're actually walking past. I'm pretty sure that's the end of the house, but oh yeah, there's a big lava demon right there at the end, just growling at you. I'm pretty sure that's the end, but man, it's a good fucking house. Final scare. Just a hatchet or chains, just some demon standing there. You can hear the clanging. Yeah. I put that one in the middle. I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was like my 6th favorite house of the night. Yeah, it's really, really good. All right, what is next? Dolls, Let's Play Dead. You could even tell just walking up to this one with the facade outside showing the girl like smacking the dolls and stabbing it with stuff. Yeah. This projection with the title letting you know what this house is going to be like. It's like a big doll house.
So this one's basically Sid from Toy Story. There's a creepy little girl who loves to play with her toys, but the way she plays with her toys is a little different than the way we play with our toys. And that means taking them apart, burning them, melting them together, killing them, detaching them, combining them with other ones in weird ways. Yeah. And there she is, doing her thing. See, she's so happy. Dalkin, third house.
Not getting ahead of ourselves. I don't have that nearly as planned out as I should, but you're going to deal with it. Dolls. I liked Hatchet and Chains a little bit more than Dolls, but Dolls is still good. Like I said, even the less good houses this year were still like 8 out of 10s on my scale. Description for Dolls, Let's Play Dead. Title card's really cool. It's like an attic with melted letters and stitched together skin. You could just tell the way this kid is playing with her toys is just not respectable. You're about to become doll-sized and be hunted by toys that have been burnt, melded, and stitched together by a twisted little girl. You're about to become doll-sized and witness the unnatural creations of a twisted little girl. You'll be hunted by fashion dolls she's melded and burned. Then you'll go under her bed and be stalked by toys she's stitched together. You'll end in her creepy Victorian dollhouse where undead horrors await you. Yeah, the story is about Lila. She's real good. She's real creepy. So let's see. This one is also from Attractions Magazine. Let's see how they show dolls. Let's play. Already off to the start with these huge, like, electrical outlets on the wall just to sell the fact that you've become tiny. And these huge lights, huge mousetrap, like, you literally are the size of a, like, 5-inch action figure, a fucking Kenner. And immediately they have fucked up, sick-looking baby dolls screaming at you. You could actually ding the doorbell. I think I did do that when I was there. Yeah, the baby crying. I remember even walking into this house, you could smell baby powder. Yeah, smells are a big thing that I'm not going to be able to convey in any of the recordings for this, but the first house, the western house, smelled a lot like dirt and gunfire and black powder and stuff that they could imitate gun smoke pretty well. This one all smelled like, I want to say like candy and sugar and baby powder, melted plastic. You can even hear the dinky music. Got the BuzzCon batteries right there, which is alluding to a different house. I love this fucking Ken doll, man, the way he moves around. Creepy baby dolls. Ooh, a big, big stitched together spider that's just fucking strangling people. It's one of the coolest rooms in this house. It's a giant voodoo doll spider made of different body parts. Well, different dolls' body parts. Sack boy. Barbie doll with her face melted off. It's really just selling it. Yeah, then these huge projection walls where it makes it look like Lila is there watching you. This big version of a little girl just to sell again the fact that you're this tiny little doll walking through this house. Yeah, little easy bake oven section. I remember getting a lot of the scares for this one. I think I went in first for a lot of the houses. It took the kids that I was with a little bit of time to work up the courage to lead the group. So I think I got a lot of the good scares in this one. Scarecrow looking girl. She fixed a doll to a fork and she's sticking it in an electrical outlet and electrocuting it. Just about any fucked up thing you can do to a little toy. Yelling at you through the house. Kill them! Don't let them get away! Kill them! Yeah, I remember that. There's a fucking rat! Big old rat monster. That's another thing. These houses were pretty long, too. Even taking your time. Just pull that doll's head off. And then you end by just running out of the house. I know that some people say, I think I might have seen it there that first night. There was actually a Lila. You hear her at the end there, but I actually think there was a Lila scare actor walking around, like an actual girl dressed up as the girl from the house. And I want to say that we actually saw her at the end of our run-through. She was sitting there at the end just kind of waving to everyone, just saying, get back here, come back. Really cool. Cool stuff. Obviously, the next one that we're
So the night, nothing too great about the outside. It's basically just a poster. But this one is basically Viking spirits, Viking monsters, trolls, wolves, undead, like whites, like White Walkers, stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, Galkin Monsters of the North. This was a really good house, too. I know that I've just kind of been saying that a lot, but truthfully, a lot of the houses this year were just really cool. This is when I think, this being the third house we went through that night, this is when I think it started to set in that this year was really special. Because all three of these are originals. None of these are based off of anything. They're not IPs. And even all three of them were really good houses. So it just shows you the dedication. In a remote northern village, a wicked being rises from the dead, bringing a horde of monsters and demons from the fjords to wreak havoc on the townspeople. You'll face icy, horned, winged, and wolfish fiends that gradually merge into one giant horror. Then you'll try to escape the belly of the beast. Quite literally trying to escape the belly of the beast. Again, this one is brought to you by Attractions Magazine. Yeah, when you walk in, it already starts telling you this story about this, like, priest who's trying to make a sacrifice, and you are that sacrifice, or at least the town was the sacrifice in this story. And they caught her, and I think they killed her, but it was all a part of her plan. She wanted to raise the dead. There she is, looking all witchy and shit. Undead. Demons. Screaming everywhere. Fucking stick monster man holding the head. Just good stuff here already in the first room. Then you walk outside. This is the winter house that I was talking about earlier. So this is the section that really should have had some snow or something. Just something to sell it. The fact that you're outside. Because you have like a saber-toothed cat up there, or like some fucking wolf or something. And you're surrounded by fake trees and shrubs and stuff. It's called Monsters of the North. In theme, you'd expect at least a little bit of ice or snow or something.
They killed Mama and Papa.
They killed Mama and Papa.
They killed Mama and Papa.
Yeah, this village is just getting absolutely ransacked. Oh yeah, they gave a body to fucking Viking Angel Wings death right there. Hearing cutting, grinding, blades. Back outside, walking into the huts. There's fucking wolves just poking through the foliage. They have someone back there who's pushing on a giant prop. Just poking him out the hole, glowing eyes and all. Really cool effect. Love this guy. Really cool costume. Like an entire beast skull for his face. I'm pretty sure he's on stilts too. Yeah, he's huge. Yeah, he's the poster child. Yeah, I know you just saw that if you're watching it. We just got to the fucking Wicker Man sequence of this house. Just rip that tooth. Hell yeah. Yeah, here's the Wicker Man. Look at this. Huge burning man in the center of this house. Really selling the fact that all of this is coming to an end in this village. Everything is being burned down. And you could hear her in the background, the witch. She's yelling at the belly of her beast. And this is when you take this turn and you see the beast and the belly you're about to enter. And it's just such a cool effect. It's literally the size of the entire room, and you're going into his guts. There's people screaming. Yeah. And then once you get in there, even then, there's all these, like, rotting, decaying people, like, all their skin fucking melting and burnt and the cartilage. It's just, man. Man. Yeah, that one fucking rocked. I remember hearing drums like doom 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 doom, and fucking Afternoon Groom and I were just fucking tutting all the way through the house, just fucking fucking dancing to these drums. And there's like actors trying to scare us and we're just dancing at them because the drums were just so intense, like boom 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 boom, and we were just fucking dancing. Even walking up to the house, we were getting the beat like in our heads, and then we're walking through the house and we're like using it to help us move through the house. And then even when we exited, we were just like boom, 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 boom. It was really good.
Next house, Fallout, needs no introduction.
Another one of the tent houses. You could see that last one was another tent house. The fact that these things are only like, I don't know, like 20 feet tall, and they're able to sell what we just sold, you know, an entire village in one of these little makeshift warehouses. So the next one is Fallout. And this might be controversial or surprising to some, but this was probably the worst house this year, and even then, it's like, I don't know, like a 5 out of 10. Not nearly as bad as some of the other ones I've gone through before. I think the problem with a Fallout house is that you really have to focus on all of the horror that comes with the concept of Fallout, and unfortunately, having watched season 1, they don't have like 2 of the coolest, maybe even 3 of the coolest monsters in season 1 of the show, but at least 2 of them are alluded to in season 2. I'm of course talking about the death claws. There's going to be a little bit of footage at the end of this house where you see like the shadow of one stomping overhead with a Las Vegas sign. Because the Death Claws came to with Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Yeah, when you don't have Death Claws and you don't have super mutants and you don't have rad scorpions, all that you're really left with is rad roaches and ghouls. And unfortunately, that's not enough. This is also going through the plot of the show, which, spoilers, like, is more, I don't know, it's not quite horror. I mean, the concept of Fallout is horror-related, horror-adjacent, I would argue. Being the apocalypse and all, that's pretty horror-related. But it's how it's done that I think begs to question whether or not this belonged at Horror Nights. Still a really good house, a really good walkthrough, but not, like, scary, you know? Face your fears in post-apocalyptic LA. Escape from the vaults to the wasteland and confront the formidable bounty hunter, the ghoul. There's no sheltering from this horror. See if you can survive the nuclear apocalypse as you're immersed in the hit show Fallout. Brought to you by Attraction Magazine. So immediately, one of my biggest gripes with this house is the facade didn't have the vault door. And it's just like, come on. We're going into a vault. Give us the vault door. But I do love to see fucking vault boy right there. Thumbs up. First thing you see when you walk in. It's the plot of the show. the Marauders. Intrude the place.
Okie dokie.
They got some good-looking Lucy's. Pretty similar to the show. So, Marauders are invading the base and they're killing people. The chick with the fork in her eye just keeps screaming. And I love the show, by the way. I'm not shitting on the show. But here's your vault door once we're inside the house. But we're leaving the vault now. And again, one of those things where you can't quite sell it budget-wise. There's just this huge fucking curtain draped pretty poorly, to be honest, of an open desert landscape, and I'm pretty sure it's the same curtain they used in the Stranger Things house from the Nina project we're in season 4.
Work, damn you!
Yeah. As you can see, there's just not enough scares. Cool set design, because now we're in the Philly section of season 1. The ghoul's about to show up. You can hear gunfire and shooting. Bandits, raiders, iguanas on a stick. He's like, he should be here. They had Ma June. She was there. Where's the ghoul? He was definitely supposed to pop out somewhere back there. I remember him popping out somewhere back there. More Lucy's.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie. Yeah, and then we're at the supply depot. We haven't seen the ghoul yet, at least not on this run. I know in my run we already had him. And it looks pretty good. It's a good mask. And we have ghouls in the freezers. We got the Mr. Handy, the robot doctor. Just how she keeps replaying that line. It's a demanding fucking job. Now this is cool. They got the, I want to say it's the T60. The armor. And the music for the Brotherhood of Steel. Dude barely looked at it when he was walking through, but that's okay. He's got other things to pay attention to. Someone just got a good scare. Yeah, as you can see, it's like we're not really getting anything. We got a gulper, but we're not really doing too much with it. This dude dressed as Maximus just kind of screaming. And then we have another T60 that you can hear. Yeah, stomping. It's the end of the season. Yeah, this run-through didn't even show the ghoul. That's kind of sad. There's the T60 though, swinging his arms, big ass armor. There he is, there's the ghoul. You can barely see him though. The mirror hallway of the T60 armors. Apparently they actually worked with Amazon to get the, there's your Deathclaw Easter egg. Right at the very, very fucking end of that house. Yeah, I mean, not a bad house, not a great house. Just kind of lower end, middle spectrum. Yeah, apparently they worked with Amazon and they actually got like the specs to build the T60 armors from them, like from the show. So it's cool that they would share that, you know, when they're partnering with Horror Nights to bring the house to the park. This is when we were walking through Diagon Alley. The fucking Death Eaters were putting on a show, and we caught them just when they were all gathering to light up the Dark Mark. You know, just kind of pointing at everyone, calling them muggles. There's pyrotechnics. Yeah, there's the projection of the Dark Mark. And then they just kind of peace out. They're walking all through this zone in front of this ride, scaring people. Yeah, it's really, really cool stuff. Totally unnecessary. Like, they don't need to do that, but the fact that they do is pretty cool. Art the Clown.
And there he goes.
Let's talk about him for a little bit. This is like my Bigfoot footage. Let's pause on that. Art the Clown is not just represented in a Horror Nights house this year with Terrifier, but he was also a roaming scare actor. And by roaming scare actor, that just means someone who walks around the park and interacts with guests. And I didn't get, this is the closest I got to him. I didn't really get to have a full-on interaction with him. There were, I want to say 2 times throughout the night. The second time that happened was we were eating, and he just kind of ran past us real quick and kind of waved at us or gave us a nod or something. I remember saying hi, but he ran past us pretty quick. The problem with a roaming scare actor this popular is that everyone just kind of flooded him, as you're going to hear some fucking asshole yell at him near the end of the footage. Like, he was just getting hounded. And that was the problem, is like they didn't put a handler with him, like asking people to like get in line. Like, they let Art run around unrestrained, which on one hand is good because it feels more genuine to Art's experience, like him actually having access to the park and walking around and threatening them and hitting them with stuff, you know. But putting a handler with him would have helped, you know, mitigate the crowd, because there are thousands of people here and they're just stampeding this guy when they see him because he would go viral. There were so many fun little interactions. If you were to Google it or look up on TikTok, like, he helped a couple propose. Like, a dude wanted to propose to his girlfriend and he pulled like the ring out of his fucking trash bag of weapons. Like, there are so many cool interactions that they show online for Art the Clown walking around, but I didn't see it personally, and he was just hounded every time I saw him. He was literally running away from people every time I saw him.
And there he goes.
What's in your trash bag? Yeah, no shit. So this was the Toxic 20s scare zone. This is in the New York streets section of the park, so they have like newsstands and alcohol barrels. It's Prohibition era, no hooch signs, and there's people being like mutated. Their skin's like melting. You know, it got into the alcohol and people drank it and got all fucking toxic. Britney Spears. There's a really cool moment where I was walking past someone and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" That was really funny. But they have like a crashed car in the one section. I think it's right there. I just passed it. Yeah, cops walking around, threatening people. It's coming up. I just really want to catch this.
How we doing?
How we doing? How we doing? Hey, I'm Tony Spumoni. All right, that was good. That's a good scream.
Yeah, just
Hey, how you doing?
1920s mutants, fucking undead-looking people, toxic, sludge.
How you doing? How you doing? Oh, he's coming for me. Hey, he's coming. Oh, he's coming for me. Oh, he's got a camera too.
Like I said, I'm laughing like a jackass because I really want these actors to know that I appreciate what they're doing. Mutations, toxic 20s. There you go. Yeah, pretty accurate. Not the best zone I've been through. I mean, the New York zones are hard because the streets are just so wide. It's not like the Hollywood or the Central Park zones where they can kind of funnel you into a certain effect. This one's pretty wide, so they have to spread everything out, but the colors are cool. The green on everything, the sheen that it puts is really neat. In a 1920s neighborhood, a BuzzCon truck with radioactive cargo crashes into a mobster getaway car, sending the city into toxic pandemonium. BuzzCon is like a trigger word for people at Horror Nights because they've had an influence on certain lore and events within the park's universe, so to speak. BuzzCon is a company that's responsible for at least 3 or 4 different Horror Nights houses. The one I could think of the most is Bugs Eaten Alive, which I think was 2 years ago. Just a really cool house where, as it sounds, people tried experimenting on bug repellent technology, and it ended up attracting them and mutating them, and they became giant toxic bugs, and they just started eating people. It's just really good. BuzzCon is one of those things that you're just going to see pop up at Horror Nights every once in a while.
The next house is Friday the 13th, but apparently they don't have an outdoor queue, so we're just going into it, and I'm going to stop recording now. Good luck.
So Friday the 13th was next. It didn't have a queue. It was in the Fast and Furious queue. This was a good house. I wouldn't say it was the best house. There's a really cool section at the end that everyone coined the Gauntlet, which is just 8 different iterations of Jason just assaulting you to end the house. Because it's really disorienting walking down like a vortex tunnel with all these fake walls, and Jason just keeps popping out different Jasons. The iconic horror villain Jason Voorhees is coming for you. Step into his terrifying world, from his sinister shack in the woods to the summer camp where it all began. Yeah. Come face to face with the silent killer Jason Voorhees. Flee through his sinister shack and into the summer camp where his gruesome legend began. Yeah, so the Jason universe thing is lame. I'm not going to harp on it too much, but it is lame. I don't love the mask. The 13 holes is kind of stupid. The eyes are too small. The angle isn't right. It doesn't look as threatening as it could. And he also just kind of looks too young. He doesn't look as deformed. He doesn't look as scary. Truthfully, he doesn't look as scary. And the Jason universe with the 1 and the 3 is just cringe. It's cringe. It was a bad move. Whatever they're trying to do, product placement, I'm not into it. This shirt design, however, was sold out when I went, and I would have bought it. Even though I don't like the mask, I would have bought this shirt, but it was sold out when I went. Yeah. Hey, they're doing what they can. I'd rather have shitty Friday the 13th than no Friday the 13th. So it is what it is. This one is specifically brought to you by Attractions 360. Giving them a shout out. Yeah, that warning is for pretty much all of Horror Nights. Yeah, off to a crazy start. There he is, there's our boy. There's Mom. Mom's head. Kind of walking around. See, he's around every corner, and that's what I mean about this house. I don't think I had a run through nearly as good. I remember he got stalled in the middle section somewhere. But look at all these holes that pop out. Shows up just to swing at you. Oh, that was weird. No people just kind of showed up. Just kind of watching you. That was good. You got the breathing down. Even shoulders. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, the Pamela actor that was out here was really good. There's this section in Fast and Furious where you actually go outside, and I remember they had a Pamela actor just walking around. She was really good. My boy, Jason, have you seen him? Do you know what they did to him?
Listen to mommy. Did you know a young woman drowned? The counselors weren't paying any attention. They were making love while that young boy drowned. His name is Jason.
Not really selling it that time for the camera, but when I saw her, she was really fucking into it. It's hard when they're trying to mimic lines, trying to match their lip sync up. And now we're entering the gauntlet. His fucking mask, bro. This is just one long dark hallway where you get fucking Jason from the third movie. Jason from the fucking fifth or sixth movie. Again, like Jason takes me out in the favorite movie. Fucking Baghead was there at one point. Just a fog-filled hallway. I remember getting both of them there. I was walking through and they came from both sides. I just remember feeling absolutely assaulted. Jason lives right there. Cool lightning effect. I need to go back and show that. The lightning effect is so cool. They have a strand of light coming down. Yeah, I mean, the ending wasn't sold as much as physically going through it, because there's maybe 2 or 3 finishing hallways, and each of them is filled with like 5 or 6 scare actors, so they're just running at you repeatedly in this hallway, popping out of every hole they can. And man, it was just, it is an assault. I don't even mean to say that in a light way. I remember the kids we were with were definitely overwhelmed by the fact that there were tons of people just coming at us. Specifically the gauntlet. Specifically when they talk about the gauntlet, that is what we are talking about. Back through Toxic 20s.
Wouldn't you want to not hit it?
I think this is when we were taking a break because we've officially gone through like 4 or 5 houses. We're going to get something.
Hey, let's go. Tony Pepperoni sends his regards.
So we just did El Artista, which also didn't have a facade, but now we're going to do Grave of Flesh.
So let's cover El Artista, which I think is my second favorite house that they had that year, which is like huge for... Oh, third favorite house that year, which is huge for a house that's not based off of anything. It's one of their originals. Maestros del Arte y del Terror. Couldn't have said that more white and American if I had tried. In 19th century Spain, a tortured artist moves to an isolated country manor to seek inspiration. Instead, the art comes alive and possesses him. You're about to be part of the permanent exhibition. Yeah, the guy who made this house had done one of my favorite houses I'd ever been through, which is Winter's Wake, Dead Man's Pier. Yeah, I mean, this house was just beautiful. This was the best original house that night. It was in my top 3. conceptually, I want to say it was based off of Gaudi, a Spanish artist who very frequently secluded himself to work on his stuff. I also think that there was someone like the making of the Kronos eating his son. You have to know this image if you've ever played a horror game, or is it Saturn? Is it Kronos? It's Saturn. It's Saturn devouring his son. If you've played a horror game, you've seen this image. This image seems to come up in every horror game ever made. So this image was apparently inspiration. Goya, that's who it was. Francisco Goya was the inspiration for this, not Gaudi. Gaudi is also a Spanish artist, but Goya, who had done Saturn devouring his son, was apparently the inspiration for this house. I'm just going to show you because it's really fucking cool. Again, Attractions Magazine.
To the torture artista with ill intent.
They put an entire fucking house in this warehouse. We are now in a warehouse like we were. Actually, this is the first warehouse house. Look at the detail. You enter this warehouse, you take a right turn, and next thing you know, you're in front of this giant fake mansion. And you then proceed to walk through this mansion for the haunted house experience. It's next level. They did not need to go this hard. That's why I love it. They built a fucking house. There's like little pages written down, lore, peppered in almost every scene. Losing his shit, working on his art as one does. Oh, the spirits! Just walking in, swinging at you, walking out. Yes, look, they match his paintings. Creepy. Yeah, literal ghost at the top of the stairs. A little kid running down the hallway. Creepy shit. It's got the Pepper's ghost effect at the top of the stairs. It's a projection. Mirrors. Reflection mirrors, the mirror trick. Fucking ghoulies, fucking monsters. Look at that. Yeah, for those who are listening, there's just a bunch of like different eras of ghosts just popping out and screaming. We've now entered a conservatory of some kind. More ghosts walking around. And they're not necessarily even popping out at you all the time, they're just there. It has a very Haunting of Hill House vibe, which was a house that they had done. Fucking gargoyle! They had done the Haunting of Hill House, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, and I went there with Alley Cat. It's one of my favorite houses, one of my favorite things they done. One of my favorite things ever made, so yeah. This room was cool because they have this fucking gargoyle flyer up top, but I think we just missed him. He goes from one ledge to the other, just swinging across. He's actually up there, suspended on a line. Yeah, we're now in the garden in front of the house. You see that gargoyle guy swinging apart up there? All these statues are actually people just dressed up as statues, so if you get really close, they will pop out at you. They have these little buttons near their feet that they just step on. It has a flash of light so they can jump at you. Oh, the pages. Yeah, the pages of this dude's art. And then this monster who's like entirely made of the pages of this dude's art. Yeah, that was cool. Black light. Ghosts with black light projections, like in their costumes. You hear the dude talking. all of his creepy art is coming to life trying to kill him. We have to get out of here. And then you get down into the basement with all the dead bodies and tombs, the people who've been consumed by this house already. More lost souls of the damned. And then lastly, we get to the room where our boy has been taken. Unfortunately, this house has an unhappy ending, as most haunted houses do. Our boy was consumed. There he is, getting taken by the house. His body being hoisted into the roots. He did not make it. Too bad, so sad. Dead ghost girl watches on, bemused. Oh, and then there's a final scare with you can hear him there. There's a final scare where the artist appears as a ghost at the very end to, perpetuate the narrative that he's just joined the menagerie of ghostly fucks.
We're in the queue for the last 4. So after we do Grave of Flesh, which is over here on the left, we're gonna go do Terrifier. So let's get it.
Grave of Flesh. This was probably, I want to say Fallout was more disappointing because the expectations for Fallout to do better were higher, whereas I didn't have any expectations with Grave of Flesh because it's an original. It was the last of the original houses that we had to go through this year, and I didn't hear a lot of great things about it. I heard some cool imagery that I'll hopefully be able to show you guys, but I wasn't wowed by this one. Personally, the story was just kind of thrown together, and the costumes are all very samey. I've been through houses like this before, where it's just like underground monsters. Like we just had them in El Artista at the very end. We even had an aspect of it with Galkin, Monsters of the North, where we go into the belly of the beast and there's all these kind of consumed people in there. Like, it's a lot like that. The description is, welcome to your funeral, where it's about to go from bad to worse. You'll enter the underworld and be hunted by flesh eaters for eternity. You'll enter your grave and then pass through the gates of the underworld, where flesh eaters who feed on the dead will be waiting for you. Get lost in their cavernous underground world, where an endless gauntlet of flesh-eating creatures will hunt you mercilessly for all eternity. Yeah, cover art's pretty cool. I mean, conceptually, it's like, okay, so you die, you're put into the earth, and then once you're down there, your soul and your body is consumed by these demonic monsters. I don't know. It's all just very... we ran out of our budget on everything else we did this year, so this one's going to be a graveyard. And it's going to have monsters. And you're going to be underground for 50% of it, because caves are easy to make for a haunted house. So, the graveyard at the beginning is actually very cool. Again, this one's brought to you by Attractions Magazine. We're more than halfway through, by the way.
Hello? Is someone there?
Yeah, so we enter the graveyard, and then we enter our grave.
The dead seem restless tonight.
The dead seem restless tonight.
Who's out there?
And there's your grave. You can give a little bit of water dripping. It's a really cool shot, just looking up at your own grave from the ground. And then we get into the caves underneath with the weird rodent-y, demon-y monsters. And yeah, it looks cool, but this is pretty much the entire house. Just caves, and then weird MC Escher at the very end. Yep, dead bodies being consumed, projections of ghouls, screaming monsters, yep. Dude. Decaying dude, TM. Bones. Yeah, and here's like the rotting stone, it feels like, from a museum dark exhibit. The house that came the year before, I think in the same spot. Or maybe those were like cocoons for the monsters. Again, this narrative is threadbare. There's a reason this is in the bottom 2 this year, because there's not really too much depth, ironically. Yeah, see, monster shows up, swipes at you. Undead dude yells at you. Yeah, that's a cool effect, whatever the fuck that is. I think it's supposed to promote that we're like traveling through different dimensions. It's like glittering, strobing lights. Like we're passing through different areas of the underworld, you know. If you know anything about mythology, you know that there's different sections. These look like the fucking Sankara stones. We're about to enter the Sankara rave of the underworld. Where's our DJ? That's not the DJ. I guess that's it. Oh no, those doors are pretty cool though. Oh, here's the MC Escher room. Just bloody stairs going in every direction. Again, super neat looking. Same monster we've seen 6 times in this house already. Where's the DJ? There's a room where this guy is like standing in front of a pedestal and he's just like waving at you and convulsing, and I was like, yo, we're at a rave. You just keep going down. Oh, is this? There he is. Look, doesn't he look like he's at a DJ booth? Doesn't she? I mean, that might be a dress. It's hard to tell gender on a demonic entity brain chin person. Another monster ghoulie. I'm pretty sure that's it. It really wasn't. Oh yeah, this is actually cool. Like people who've been entombed, turned into stone, stuck in the walls, trying to escape. Yeah. Oh yeah. More monsters poking. Again, more dirt. More monsters, more dirt. Same monster costume we've seen 7 times. Some weird, like, rotting room where the people are starting to get merged with the walls. You know, catacombs, skeletons. And then it's over. Yeah, I don't know. Not a great house. At least there were lots of scare actors and monsters there, which Fallout really didn't even have. Let us continue.
Are you having fun yet? Are you having fun? You having fun yet? You having fun? So the line for both Friday the 13th, which is Jason Universe, and Terrifier, both have a 2.5 hour long wait, and we just got in line, and it took us maybe like 20 to 30 minutes to get through Jason Universe. So we're gonna see how much of a 140 minute wait for Terrifier we're about to get past.
Yeah, like 2 hours to get through Terrifier. That's ridiculous.
So,
I think, yeah, let's do Terrifier next, because we were just talking about it. Nothing can prepare you for this grisly haunted house based on all 3 of Damien Leone's Terrifier films. Try your luck against the sadistic Art the Clown in his twisted funhouse. Witness Art's gleefully grotesque handiwork of torture. You'll be left literally dripping with terror and drenched with fear. It's a whole new level of gore. Which is true, because the house ended with like a water effect. Oh, didn't show the cover art. Yeah, just from the first movie. Brought to you by Attractions 360. Yeah, the exterior of this house is literally the Terrifier funhouse from the second movie, which is the only alteration is they put Art's face on the clown's face that looks a lot like Jack. You pretty much know exactly what you're getting when you're walking up to this. Art has a sense of humor. I can appreciate it. You know, he's having fun with what he does. Oh, the little girl. A mirror effect, yeah. All the arts kill it, too. Facial expressions. I mean, we've already seen 2 of them where it's just this mask, like on this one right here. It's a mask, but I mean, it does the job. As long as you have the mannerisms, the body movement down. Oh, he cut the cutting the chick in half. You do see her here for like a second. You can see her sitting there. A shadow of Art comes in here and cuts her in half. It is the most grotesque kill from the first movie. I could see why someone on YouTube would want to cut around it because it is pretty graphic. He picks up a gun and starts shooting all these bleach barrels. And they start shooting out little sprinkles of water on you that smell like bleach. It does smell like bleach in this room. Look at him go. Again, the gore. They're probably cutting around these things. It's a good room from from the second movie. I have a shirt that I got from the Clown Cafe. Look at him. He wants you to come to his Clown Cafe. To the Clown Cafe. Get stuck in your head. I think he has like a flamethrower, all the flames on the walls here. I think he hits you with mist. Yeah, there he is. He's got like a little torch, hand torch. Alright, we're getting into the third movie now with Vicky. And it's about Christmas. So you're about to hear and see that. Third movie is okay. Didn't love it, I think, as far as Christmas horror movies go. Yep. See? He's got the wave down. Terrifier Christmas. Yeah, jeez. This bright-ass hallway. Who could forget? I got a pair of those sunflower glasses when I went, because they were actually selling them. Patting him on the head after taking his brain. Oh, look at him. Exploratory surgery. Oh, yeah. So this is the part that I gotta explain. They have the dry path, and then they have the bloody path. And the bloody path is the wet path, because there's just, like, water shooting everywhere. And then they have this Art the Clown actor up here who's like telling you to go this way, and if you go this way, he looks at you disappointedly. You do get rewarded going this way because you usually see the chick from the second movie dressed in her like fucking angel gear, which is really cool. If you go this way. The only other thing worth pointing out is I was talking about smells earlier, and I hadn't really brought it up since then because the last couple houses didn't really have any smells. This house had smells. One of the rooms smelled like actual shit. Like there's a bathroom scene, which again, this guy cut out to be liberal with YouTube's policies, but there's a dookie filled toilet, and let me tell you, it actually smelled like shit. Good acting. He's like, you want to go that way, bloody path. Of course, this guy with the nice camera is going to take the dry path. Lame. Attractions magazine with your high-tech camera. Yeah, you only get a couple convulsing bodies in this hallway. It's not worth it. You should go the wet path. Because then you get her cutting Art's head off. And... Oh yeah, he did take the bloody path. Okay, good for you. He did end up doing it. I take back my lane. See, there's just a little bit of water coming down. But I can understand why you have a camera, you're trying to get through here as fast as possible. You turn this corner, and then my girl is supposed to be... There we go. Nice. Yeah. Oh, there's a good shot of the ghoul mask that I wasn't able to show you before. Yeah. Really good house. There's not too much that we could show because of YouTube's policies, but that was in my top 3. That was the bottom of the top 3 for me.
Last 2 houses.
Last 2 houses.
We're going to go do the Wyatt 6 because it's faster. And then we're going to finish strong with Five Nights at Freddy's. That's where I want to be. Five Nights at Freddy's.
I was the most excited for Five Nights at Freddy's. We'll talk about it when we get there. Let's cover Wyatt 6 first. You're about to go head-to-head with the fiendish Wyatt 6 at Halloween Horror Nights. Enter an eerie arena where you'll go through an ominous lantern-lit doorway into the maniacal minds of Uncle Howdy, Rambling Rabbit, Mercy the Buzzard, Abby the Witch, and Huskus the Pig. Beware, you're about to meet your match. This is presented by WWE. This was my favorite house of the event. And it's because it merges the things that Universal does best. I had zero expectations. It's a house based on WWE. I don't watch WWE. How could I have expectations for anything like this? But I had heard in my research and my coming to terms with them having a house that Bray Wyatt, who had passed away, the Fiend for WWE, he was a big fan of Horror Nights, and he would come every year. He was friends with the developers, the people who behind the production. He was a big fan. And when he passed away, I want to say due to heart complications, wrestling, unforgiving on the body. So, unfortunately, he passed away, and this was like, even though it's a couple years in the making, this was like the tribute house. And I don't watch WWE, I already said it, so I didn't have any expectations for what this would entail. So I kind of approached this house like I would one of the original houses, which is you don't have any expectations because it's not based on a movie. It's not based on something you've already seen. You can walk through a Terrifier house and be really impressed with how they do it because you've seen a lot of this stuff in the Terrifier movies, and you didn't know that they would go that hard. Like, someone for the VIP tours said that the Terrifier house had busted the record on the most dead bodies in any given house, which I think was like 37 or 38 full-on dead bodies. That's sure. whatever. I mean, that's cool. But you have expectations because you've either seen the movies or you haven't. No matter what you've seen about Bray Wyatt or the Wyatt Six, it could not have prepared you for what they were going to do with the Firefly House or Uncle Howdy or any of that shit. Like, even I have a vague knowledge just from having done a very minimal amount of research before going this year. And it's just a really touching tribute, and I'll get to that after we watch the walkthrough.
Howdy, huskies, rambling, bursting, brain.
So of course it starts with like the action of Firefly, like the lights and the lanterns, with everyone standing there. This is how they like revealed themselves at Horror Nights, or at the WWE a couple years ago. They like came walking out with a bunch of lights and their lanterns. So this is the approach. And then it's like we go backstage at Horror Nights or at WWE, and they've killed like people who work there. See, they make it look like we're borrowing the stuff from Raw, and that they broke out and just started killing people. All the workers like dressed up as WWE backstage staff. Uncle Howdy. Yeah, we get the Firefly Funhouse in here. The Mr. Rogers style. Which is where all of the Wyatt Six come from, theoretically. That's what the witch is based on, the doll. There's the Fiend.
Let him in.
And I don't know that chick's name, but I know that she's also an Easter egg, like to another person that would play Bray, lore-wise. We got Uncle Howdy. I'm the best in the world. Yeah, you can just see the dedication. Oh, we're entering the Rabbit's domain. It's like a twisted wonderland. Oh, and here's the pig's domain. It's like a slaughterhouse. This one smells gross too. Like a warthog eating a body right there. Dude dressed as a pig. His domain is feeding on dead bodies and shit. You can even hear yeah, there is. You know, vultures show up to feed on the carcasses of the dead, so I feel like they're being like dead bodies in the alleyway, and he's just perched there. Some type of ritual offering for the witch. That was her room. I remember she got me good when I was walking through there. I got a lot of really good scares in this house. Yeah, they're actually talking about Bray right there. I think that was supposed to be his head, which is gnarly because Uncle Howdy's over here, and Bray actually died. And Uncle Howdy, I think, is played by his family member, his brother. So they got his rocking chair right there. There's actual footage of Bray on the wall. Because Bray loved this shit. Bray loved the lore of the Horror Nights atmosphere. There's pictures of him and his friends on the wall. Yeah, this is the final room. swear I got so many good scares in this room. They all just popped out at me all at once. This guy playing the theme just nails it. There's the rocking chair, slowly rocking. It's a touching story. It's a touching tribute.
As always, I'll light the way.
I don't even like wrestling. I don't even like wrestling, and it's a really good fucking house. Oh, man. All right. We're almost done.
Wait. No, not yet. Now.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
Well, it's too damn bad.
Yeah, we had like one house left, and they were just getting tired. It was already going on like midnight. We had been there since, I want to say, like 5.
So we're in line for the last house.
This is where I talk about
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Wyatt 6 a little bit.
And we just did WWE Wyatt 6, and it actually made us a little sad because it was so good, and they were playing like actual archived footage of like the wrestlers that knew him in the queue getting in line for that, and you could just tell how like sad they were, like being interviewed for this house and providing feedback for why this house should be made. And it was really heartfelt, and like you could just see how much love each of the scare actors was putting into it. And it's just so cool to see like a bunch of like a literal company come together and do like a tribute like that. And I'm not even a wrestling fan, you know, like I really don't, I only read up on it and listened to it because I knew that they were doing it this year, and I wanted to know like what the characters were about and what the story was. And after having done it, nailed it. So good. But now we're headed to Five Nights at Freddy's.
And we are. I think I got like one shot, because I was looking forward to Five Nights at Freddy's so much, I got like one shot in the house. Yeah. Just at the entrance with the sign. I had to. Just that quick. Cupcake! And they actually had the cupcakes. It's really funny. Alright, let's cover this last house, Five Nights at Freddy's. What can be said? It's not a great Horror Nights house because the costumes are just too big to effectively scare you at all. Like, they can't jump out at you, they can't come out and surprise you. It's not gonna happen. What they are able to do is really sell you on the atmosphere and really nail the costumes and actually make some animatronics so that it looks authentic. That's the best it can do. And they nailed that. So is this house a huge Horror Nights success? No, because it's not super scary. But is this like an actual feat? Like they got Jim Henson to actually work on the suits and help them like they helped the movie? Like, that's awesome. Like, the fact that they were able to put this together is legendary. This is going to go down in history as one of the coolest things they've done at Horror Nights. It's not the hardest thing they've ever done, but it's cool. Like this first scene. Just that right there. That little moment. Because these are just animatronics. These are not people in suits. The fact that we even get that scene with all 3 of them on the stage like that. It's just, they didn't have to do that, and they did. And then it's just kind of downhill from there. It's not bad, but like, look, we have like a half of the Chica hidden by some boxes, and she just kind of stares at you. You know, we have people screaming, playing the reactions, the dead kids. Yeah. Pizzeria looks good. Got cupcake! Guy got his face eaten by a cupcake. poking through the wall, trying to grab at you. It's me. So we got the security room. They had to do it. Even the posters on the wall. It's real good. They knew what they were doing. And they really tried. You can't say that they didn't. Employee photos. I'm sure these are either actual people who helped put this together or influencers or people who come to the park. Now this Foxy at the end of this hallway, he was supposed to move and like walk down the hallway, and I never saw it. I don't think it ever happened until the last couple weeks, but it's still really cool, the fact that he actually has a track to walk up and down the hallway. Some screaming dude. Yeah, this is when the kid's asking for help and the babysitter gets fucking eaten by the... Yeah, up on the wall here. I don't know if we're gonna... Oh, yeah, we saw it. Okay. Wasn't sure if they were gonna show it. Fucking scooping costume. Say there's a walking Freddy right there. So you could see it a little bit how they made this work. There's someone back there controlling this, and then there's like a chain that's holding it hoisted from the ceiling so it can roll down this kind of walkway and lunge at you. And that's the best they're able to do because these costumes are just so big and so heavy. There we go, Scoop and Sam. Wondering how they got in those costumes. Mrs. Dumpy looking Francis Cuckoo over here. Freddy again. As he waves his arms at you. Yeah, it's not super attractive, you know. But the costumes look great. You can't say that they don't look good. The fact that we're getting this at Horror Nights is really cool. Oh, I think Springtrap is in this. I think there's one more Chica and then we finish with Springtrap. I don't think there's a Bonnie, now that I think about it. Yeah, one more Chica. That one's cool. She's actually holding the technique. Again, just kind of on a swivel with only one movable arm. Not much you can do with that. And then this is the last cool one. A full walking Springtrap. No, you walked right by him. They didn't even show it. I need to find someone else. I need to find someone else because it didn't even show the Springtrap. So that was Attractions Magazine. Missing the best moment. Let's see what Attractions 360. They have to have it. Might even have a better shot of the intro walkway. Better footage. Oh, they muted it because of the music. But look at that. That's really good. That might be better. Better shot of Freddy walking up. So you can see it better how it's like connected to the person behind it. And how they kind of step forward and step back. It's like linked up to them. Fuck you, Ghost Kid. Oh, there is a Bonnie. Yeah, there's one Bonnie. With this fake dying guy. Yeah, where'd Bonnie go? Oh, there's another Foxy. I only thought I saw the one, but apparently there's a second Foxy. Alright, give me Springtrap. I don't know how you get through this house and you miss the Springtrap. Even I saw the Springtrap. I made a point to stop and wait for it to reset so that he could walk at me and get a good scare. Just kind of jostles at you. Menacingly. Menacingly. There he is. Yeah, there he is. That was worth it. Worth it. Alright. So that's all of it. I don't think I got any more footage. We did pass by the Mel's Die-In section. It's supposed to say dine-in, and they show it as die-in during, or drive-in, and it shows die-in during Horror Nights. And they had zombie waiters and waitresses on roller skates going around. I didn't catch any footage of that, so I'm not going to show that. And then there was Club Horror, which was just a dance section with a DJ, and it's stupid. Should have done Blumhouse again. The last one is the Origins of Horror, which I did catch some footage of. Really cool sculptures that they had at the entrance of the park that I got as we walked out. So I'll show you that footage hopefully next.
Cupcake. Another successful year.
Yeah, so here we got Art with the chainsaw. Just a really cool looking sculpture.
Yeah, but we didn't walk through this. Beautiful.
Genuinely.
Yep. And Mr. Frederick Fazbear.
Frederick.
It's all the Horror Nights.
It is all the Horror Nights.
WWE. Yeah, all the IPs are in this lineup. Finish with a giant stilt crow. The murder of crows. Yeah, they're really cool. They're from California. They finally brought them over to
That's all she wrote,
Florida.
kids. It's been real. Halloween Horror Nights. Yar. And sports at 11.
Yeah, what more needs to be said? Halloween Horror Nights is one of my favorite things. I look forward to it every single year. I like talking about it. I like looking forward to it. I like hyping it up. I like telling people about it. I like selling it. Funnily enough, I get to do that for work. I get to sell it to people, which is fun. I'm putting a group together to go this next year because I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be maybe even better. I think there's something about hyping an event like this up, because the year before, when I went to California with Where Am I, we were talking about like what would be good to come next, like what should they do next. And that year, which was the year before, I was like, they need to do Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't know why they haven't done Five Nights at Freddy's yet. It wouldn't be that hard. Like, come on, just do it. And they fucking did it. And it was actually cool looking. So it's, you know, I think it's the type of thing where if people were saying that last year was one of the best years that they've ever had, and I just walked you guys literally through it, showing you how good it was, yeah, then people already hyping up this next year really means a lot. So let's run through the theoretical lineup one more time. It, in some capacity, whether the movies or Welcome to Derry, might be there. Stranger Things might be there. Resident Evil might be there. Hellraiser might be there. Ozzy Osbourne or Ice Nine Kills might be there. Black Phone 2 or Sinners might be there. Like, if you liked any of those things, which you should, because a lot of them are really good, then you have a lot to look forward to this next year. So if you're thinking about going to Horror Nights, if you know me personally and you want to go to Horror Nights, I am going. I go every year. I make a point to go every year. Join me, and we shall go together. But even if you don't know me personally, go. I don't want to. I don't know how else to sell this on you. I just talked about Horror Nights and showed you footage for the last 2 hours. I feel like this is my pitch. This is my sales pitch. Welcome to 2026. I'm going to push the product more than ever. Sign up for my Patreon. Give me your money so that I can pitch you on stuff like Horror Nights that costs me a lot of money to go to. Oh, man. I know where MI is joining me this next year because he wasn't able to go last year. I heard Deputy Dewey is thinking about coming. So, looks like we'll have the gang all there, and then maybe we'll record something afterwards and talk about it when we get back. If the lineup is nearly as good, like as stuff gets announced, I'll talk about it on the show as I hear about it. But if there's as much to look forward to as I think there's going to be, it's going to be a special year. So that it gives you a goal. If 2026 is looking daunting to anyone, all that you need to know is you could just go on vacation at the end of the year. When spooky season comes around, just go to Horror Nights. It'll give you a nice end cap to the year. But this is the beginning of the year, so we're just getting started, baby. Yeah, so up next, I hope you guys enjoyed my little solo run of Halloween Horror Nights 2025 with me. But up next, we'll be doing the annual movie review with Mark Rooster and another guest. So I will see you guys next time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, follow, subscribe, all that bullshit. And I'll see you next time. Five Nights at Freddy's. That's where I wanna be.